Any member of the public would like to address the council on item number 1, Long Ridge Road Service and Driveway? Sir? Yes, sir, please.
Good evening. For the record, my name is John McCoy. I reside at 230 Great Pen Road here in Danbury, but I'm here on behalf of Monique and Philip Vidal and on behalf of my engineering firm, Joseph Engineering, Ridgefield, Connecticut, 440 Main Street. And I'm mostly here if there were any questions. It has to do with they are asking for a service driveway to access 64 acres of their property to basically for maintenance purposes and recreation purposes. And they have no plans to build any structures over this time. And obviously, if they did, they'd have to come back and go through various processes. But because it's a scenic road, we've had to go through a bunch of hoops to get here. And we're here today at the public hearing, which I believe is the last step, hopefully, to move forward with gaining the service driveway. So I'm here if there's any questions. That's about it.
Thank you, sir. If you would be able to stay until we go into the committee of the whole, that's when there possibly be a question for you then. It'll be after the first 3 public hearings.
Okay.
Thank you. Is there any member of the public that wishes to address the council on item number 1, Long Ridge Road Service Driveway? Any member of the public wishing to address the council on item number 1, Long Ridge Road Service Driveway? Any member of the public wishing to address the council on item number 1, Long Ridge Road Service Driveway? Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 2. 2009 Retirement Incentive Program, Code of Ordinances, Section 1460. Any member of the public that wishes to address the council on item number 2? Any member of the public that wishes to address the council on item number 2, 2009 Retirement Incentive Program? Is there any member of the public that wishes to address the council on item number 2, 2009 Retirement Incentive Program? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 3. Is there any member of the public that wishes to address the council on the ordinance making appropriations for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2009 and ending June 30th, 2010, and the resolution levying the property tax for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2009 and ending June 30th, 2010? Sir?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Thomas Popperman. Last name is spelled Oppermann. I reside at number 12, 3 Partners Road in Danbury. And my request is that property tax for seniors above whatever age it will be determined ultimately be frozen or significantly reduced from increasing at whatever rate the taxes are going to increase at. The seniors do not utilize many of the services that normal commuters or younger people would. That is, the use of the schools for their children, just so many items that the use of roads, for example, for commuting. Most seniors would be retired and not take up a lot of the items that would be considered infrastructure in the city. And it's something that other towns apparently have looked at. I don't know which particular towns in Connecticut have adopted that freeze of property taxes, but I believe some have. I've read about it in the newspaper, and I figured this would be a good opportunity to come and voice my concern and ask you gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, to think about it, and also Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is there any other member of the public that wishes to address the council on item number 3? Mrs. Waller?
Waller, 83 Highland Avenue in Danbury. Actually, there wasn't a whole lot I had to complain about. This is one of the tightest budgets I've ever seen, and I appreciate that. One question I had dealt with the grants. The agencies who are getting the city's money, will we know who they are? Will we know who they serve, meaning how many Danbury residents in comparison to other towns' residents? And will we know how much they're getting? Will it be transparent so that we could FOI this and find out the information? Since the city is not doing it, I assume they're no longer sending the information over to the city of Danbury so that the residents could have access to that. Will United Way let us, the public, see their agency's audits, etc.? Part of the grants that are going to education, I'm very concerned because several people I have talked to believe that the education grants are going to go to the school system. And I think you all need to be very careful or very upfront the fact that these education grants are not necessarily going to the Danbury school system. They're going to other agencies that educate people on different things, but not through the Danbury school system. And I want to be sure that when people donate, they realize what it's going towards. I also am speaking about seniors. I like the idea of freezing taxes. A lot of us are just living on Social Security, and we don't have a lot of money. I appreciate all the credits you have put in for us, but some of us are even having trouble making ends meet as the assessments continue to rise, and we have no control over that, even though our houses has dropped over 100,000. I'm very concerned about that. I'm also speaking about the senior transportation. I know I brought it up a couple of years ago, and you all were kind enough to fund the Red Cross Wheels program to help the seniors get to doctor's appointments or rehab or other things like that. I understand the Red Cross is no longer doing the Wheels program, so that basically a lot of the people who were using it don't really have anywhere to go. The Housing Authority, I'm glad to see you're doing it, but they approve rides for their tenants only, and if you're not living in one of the Housing Authority buildings, you have nowhere to go. We have the Sweetheart bus, I will grant you, but you have to make appointments weeks in advance, and sometimes when you get sick, you don't realize, because I had the flu and it came on overnight. I'd have to make an appointment 3 weeks in advance. Were I using the Sweetheart bus, or 2 weeks, or whatever, it makes it very difficult to get to a doctor or to rehab. I'd like to see if there's some way you can figure out to fund some transportation for seniors to get to, say, doctors or rehab or shopping or banking. It's just plain inadequate the way it's run at the moment. I don't know how you can do it. I have no idea how much it's going to cost, but it is a need that is not being met. Thank you.
Any member of the public that wishes to address the council on item? If so.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Joseph De Silva. I live at 17 Mountainville Avenue in Danbury, Connecticut. The devil's in the details, and I frankly don't have a lot to complain about in this budget either. I will only point out, however, that it is obviously very tight. As Ms. Waller said, it's the tightest budget in a long time. There is very little wiggle room, and good luck with this budget. Thank you for all the hard work you're doing. One caution about relying on the numbers, everything in this budget, the large parts that are dependent upon what we are getting from the state. The state budget will probably not be done when we pass ours. So just a caution about, obviously, and I'm probably not telling the members anything they're not aware of, the numbers coming out of Hartford, no matter who they are, and this isn't a political matter, whether they're the governors or the legislatures, anybody's numbers up there, they're subject to change until that budget's final. We just have to be very careful here that our reliance is not so tight that any change in the state numbers requires us to come back and cut more, raise taxes, raise the mill rate, go to fund balance or whatever. So good luck, and just that one caution. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Elise Marciano. I live at 179 Long Ridge Road in Danbury. I just want to comment again and expand on what Lynn Waller and Joe DeSilva just said, that you have to find some areas that you could cut in this budget because seniors living on fixed income cannot afford to have their taxes raised. Families who may have lost their job or one job cannot go out and find work and be able to feed their family and pay their mortgage and their taxes. What will happen is many people will not be able to pay their taxes at the end of the year. This will be a budget shortfall and it'll be a mess. So it would be better to have the taxes reasonable so that people could pay them and not be in default. I just would hate to see a lot of people, and especially seniors, leaving Danbury because they can't afford to live here because of the taxes. I also would like to ask you to look carefully at the grant section. I'm very pleased that the mayor has done such a wonderful job in keeping the costs down, but I do think that there are areas that can be cut in the grant section. I believe these agencies can get their funding by raising, having fundraisers, getting people to volunteer, and there's many foundations who will give them money that is not taxpayer money. So you must realize that these agencies can get along without the taxpayers' money. And I urge you to look carefully into that. And again, thank you for all the hard work and the excellent work so far. I just ask you to please do a little bit more and see if we can knock off that 1%. Thank you.
Is there any other member of the public that wishes to address the council on item of concern?
My name is Tom Nelson, live at 124 Great Plain Road in Danbury, and just recently retired. And so my comments are related to the number of early retirements, the package of people, and I have a real concern about the expertise that's going to be lost. There's people that have 20, 30 years more experience. How is that going to be captured so the city can provide the functions with less people? And I'm really concerned that unless there's a plan, and I hope there is, I don't know if there is, that some of that expertise might be lost. Thank you.
Any other member of the public? Question? Address the council.
Good evening. My name is Gregory Marciano, M-A-R-C-I-A-N-O, 179 Long Ridge Road, Danbury. I'd just like to say good evening to all the council members, and from the looks of what we have here, not too many people in Danbury are concerned with the money they're spending. There's a handful of people here. I don't understand it. The nation is in trouble. Our taxes are going to go up, state taxes, federal taxes especially. What is wrong with it? What is going on? Our education must not be doing the job, I guess. Please, I beg you, look at the budget and cut another 5 or 10%. It can be found, it can be done. Thank you.
Any other member of the public wishing to address the council on item number 3? Any other member of the public wishing to address the council on item number 3? Any other member of the public wishing to address the council on item number 3? Sir.
Joe Gervasoni, Gervasoni, 82 James Street. Just a simple question. In the paper, I thought they talked about you guys are going to consider postponing reevaluation. Maybe this might be a good time to have reevaluation since the property values are going down. That way the tax rate, we will be paying less taxes. Of course, you'll need more money, but as far as we are concerned as property owners, with the property value going down, it might be a good time to have reevaluation, if that's possible. And the only other thing is, Mr. Chairman, you said earlier that you're not going to respond to any questions we might have. And when will we get a response? Like, I might have a question, or I have a question about the reevaluation, so you're not going to give me a response, so when will I get a response? Or will anybody here get a response?
So happy talking right outside right now. You want me to talk right now?
Our whole function here tonight is to listen to the public.
Just to listen. Okay.
All
right.
When the budget comes for adoption,
Sure.
before the council, we have a public speaking session. You're welcome to come and speak again tonight. You can ask a question.
Sure.
In the ad hoc committee meetings, you can certainly come to those and ask questions. Well, it depends on the chair. You can certainly get a question through one of the council people to the chair. There's many ways you can do it. You can talk to the mayor directly right now. But a lot of times what happens is if you ask a question now in public session, someone will ask that question later. We're not having a committee of the whole on this tonight, but when we do, someone will ask that question.
So that's all I'm after. So after you guys meet in private,
It's public.
well, when we leave, there's no private session?
No.
Okay.
You can stay.
Okay. No? All right, then I guess that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other member of the public that wishes to address the council on item number 3? Any other member of the public wishing to address the council on item number 3? Any other member? Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Common Council, thank you for coming out tonight.
Sir, if I could...
Peter D. Green, 84 West Wooster Street, Danbury, Connecticut. I'm here to comment on the proposed budget increase or tax increase that Mayor Bellin has proposed. I was able to review today's paper, and I agree 100% with Captain Saudi, the minority leader. Quote, "It's not how much money is being spent, but where it's being spent." Totally agree. The bottom line is we have to see how much money is being spent in which areas. Yes, sir. And more importantly, how are the taxpayers' money is being spent? Number 2, I do not think there should be a tax increase on the taxpayers of Danbury when hard choices are being made at kitchen tables all across this state and great country. Also, I believe these are very trying times economically, and I think there should be a small tax deduction for the hardworking taxpayers. I definitely do not think in these trying economic times that there should be any tax increase. Number 3, I think it's very important that the Common Council give 3 segments of the population a substantial tax break. That's number 1, disabled people in our community. Number 2, elderly or retired people. And number 3, veterans that have served this great country honorably. Number 4, I want to remind the Common Council that today the Biden and Obama administration has instructed the White House budget director to look for ways to cut spending. Number 5, there has been mention of hiring more police officers. I don't think that this community can afford them at this particular moment in time, even if stimulus money is being used, because after the stimulus money runs out, the hard-working taxpayers have to foot the bill. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Any other member of the public that wishes to address the council on item number 3? Any other member of the public wishing to address the council on item number 3? Any other member of the public wishing to address the council on item number 3? Seeing none,
Mr. President,
Mr.
I'd
McCollum?
like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second. Motion been made and seconded by Seabury. Motion been made and seconded to close the public hearing. Try your minds, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you. Public hearing is now closed.